Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about if this cooking collection is worth locking in for Diamond Steph Curry. Plain and simple, that's what we're going to be talking about today's video. Is this collection worth locking in? Now, I will be locking this collection in today. It is not lock-inable yet. The cards are not out yet, but I will be locking in this collection today, doing gameplays with all these cards, getting Steph, all that stuff. Let me preface that video by saying that right now. I'm doing it for content, but is this set worth locking in for you? That is my question, and that answer honestly depends on the type of player you are, the type of person you are. Depends what you're trying to do. In my team, I would say it's honestly a questionable decision. If you are a grinder and you have a lot of MT, you've been playing the game a lot, you are planning to continue playing the game a lot, and are earning at least a couple 100,000 MT per week just from playing the game because you're out here grinding the game a couple hours a day every day, then this set might be worth locking in for you, maybe. If you are a normal person who, well, not a normal person, but if you are somebody who doesn't like to spend a ton of money on video games, doesn't care about having the best team in the game, this Steph Curry card is not going to probably be worth the lock-in. And the reason that I say that is because he is costing, assuming these 90 overalls are 140,000 MT, which I assume that they will be, this set costs 720,000 MT. Now, 720,000 MT is somewhere around $100 if you were to just buy it. It will be cheaper than that VC wise. The VC alternative price will definitely be cheaper than what 720k would be totally be. It'll probably be a little bit less than $100 of VC, but probably around $100 of VC total to get this Steph Curry if you want to just buy him straight up. The problem with this set is that none of the other cards in this set are really particularly elite. There are a few good emeralds. Jaden Ivey, LaFonso Ellis are both very good budget cards. Ray Allen is a great budget shooter, great offline card. Steve Novak, Jordan Farmar, Steph Curry, really not great. Marcus Camby's probably the best Sapphire and below big man in the game, but Elton Brand is mediocre. Chandler Parsons is a very good scorer, but he's not really going to make a lot of people's teams. Chris Mullin, great shooter, but again, does he make teams? Brook Lopez has 25 speed. Latrell Sprewell might make some people's teams, but most people probably not either, but he is a very capable card. There are some good cards in this set, but nothing really incredible. Now, these new amethysts. Hakeem has 63 speed and a 43 ball. He's not an elite level center. He's okay because he's big and he's a very good defender, and he will compete on the interior at a very high level, rebound at a very high level, all that type of stuff. But he can't shoot the ball. He's not good enough to really be making a ton of teams right now. He's not making my squad, I'll tell you that for sure. Same thing with Zion. Zion is good. He has a 72 3 ball. It's high enough to hit, 85 driving dunk. 6'6" power forward's a little undersized. He's super athletic. He's not an incredible defender, but he is a pretty good card. His release is probably bad. He probably does not make my team again, but he probably would make a lot of people's teams if they don't have one of the best squads in the game. And then we have this Drazen Petrovic card, who is a 72 speed, absolutely elite shooter who does nothing else. He is an incredible shooter, but we have a lot of incredible shooters, and I don't think Drazen's release is all that great either. So honestly, I don't have high expectations for this Drazen card either in terms of him being an elite level card. Zion is probably the best overall card in this set, him or Latrell Sprewell, but neither of them probably make most elite teams, especially if you're going to lock in Steph Curry. You probably already have some better options. Like if you look at my team, this isn't my best starting lineup. This is probably my best lineup as of right now, would be to bring Kemp off the bench at the actually my best lineup right now is probably something along these lines. Start Brandon Roy and then bring J Kidd off the bench with Booker. I do have Vince available to sell, and he is probably my worst shooting guard, so I may wind up selling him at some point. I could sell Pippen as well and just play Tatum and Grant Hill as my fours and put Chris Webber at the 5, so I could make some tea as well from selling some players between Vince and Pippen. But with that being said, I don't see any of these other cooking players making my lineup. I understand I have one of the best teams in the game. Really, there's only a few cards I'm missing, being probably Bam Adebayo, Sean Marion, Tracy McGrady, and that's about it. But he doesn't make my lineup. I'm not sure these cards are going to make a ton of y'all's lineups either besides Steph, which makes this a very, very tough set for us to decide to lock in. For me, I'm doing it for content. For you, I don't know if it's worth it for 720k to get a card who is probably the best point guard in the game, because Steph is the best point guard in the game, will be better than Kyrie, almost certainly, because of how good his animations are, how good his offensive stats are, how good his movement is, all that type of stuff compared to Kyrie. He's very similar statistically to Kyrie. Actually, neither of them can really dunk. 97 3 ball is incredible. He's a very capable ball handler, has a high steal rating, decent perimeter, super fast, great lateral quickness. Lateral quickness and steal are the two most important perimeter defensive badges. Perimeter defense really doesn't matter, so I'm totally good with that as well. He's fast enough. has high stamina, he's going to be the best point guard in the game, and I definitely don't think that's going to be really up for debate. He has a lot of good badges as well, ton of playmaking ability on this card. Do think he is going to be very, very good. Unfortunately, not all his badges are upgradable, which I was kind of hoping that would be the case. That's not the case, so you can't add defensive badges on him. We'll have to see how the dynamic duo is, because if you're going to lock this card in, you'll get the dynamic duo with Draymond, so you could start them together if it's a good enough duo to make that worth doing, but they haven't put the duo in game yet, so I don't know if that's the case. If you did not lock in Shaq, for example, maybe Steph is worth a lock in. For me, I didn't lock in the Mirage set. There's this set right here for Tracy McGrady that would have cost me an extra couple, like several $100,000 MT to get all these emeralds, to lock in Derrick Rose, to get all the rubies and stuff. It would have cost me a bunch of more MT to lock in the set, and I still have T-Mac available to sell, as well as these duo cards that I could sell as well. Some of these 2K day prices cards are going to start dropping in price today, so those might be worth selling as well. Like Terrence, I should probably sell Terrence Ross actually, and these other cards before they drop in price, because I'm not using them. But as a whole, I would say that this set's a little too expensive for the average player to make it worth it. I think 720k is just too much, considering you're not going to earn that much MT in a reasonable amount of time without playing the game an absolute ton. I think it's reasonable to earn 200,000 MT a week. 700,000 is absurd. So unless you like spending money and unless you have the money to spend, you actually have the disposable income, I don't think Steph is worth locking in. If you don't have the money, you should never lock in a card, by the way. And that is not to shame anybody who does not have the money to do this type of stuff, but if you are struggling to pay for other and more important things in your life, if you have more pressing things, 2K is far from the top of the priority list. You can play this game for fun as a no money spent player, still get rewarded, and then still get top cards without having every single top card. It is not worth locking in a card like Steph if you cannot financially afford it. But if you can financially afford it and you have the discretionary income, you could lock him in. He's going to be the best point guard in the game. He's going to be super fun, and I'm certainly excited to use the card. Is he worth his price? Probably not, even for the majority of like money spenders. Unless you are a guy who loves having the top squad, or you are a competitive elite player, you are trying to win money in PLs, you are trying to actually win money off this game, Steph for the vast majority of people is really not going to be worth the upgrade, because Kyrie is still going to be phenomenal, and then you can find a backup point guard to run who will get the job done. A lot of people already have Lillard locked in from running Shaq. If you got Shaq, you also have Jason Kidd, so you have the elite defensive point guard option as well. You have point guards to run in this game in all likelihood already. You don't need this Steph Curry. He is not game-breakingly incredible, I do not think. Is he worth the lock-in for the vast majority of people? The answer is no. Is he worth the lock-in for a few people at the top? Maybe, because he is going to be exceptional. At least he is a very good card. But I didn't think the T-Mac lock-in was worth it at all either, and tons of people locked in T-Mac. So there are going to be expensive lock-ins this year. You have to pick and choose which ones you want to lock in. Shaq was almost a must lock-in for a lot of people because he's so dominant and so good. Steph Curry, probably not quite to that same level, but still a very good card who is definitely going to be worth locking in for a lot of people and going to be a difference maker, but not enough of a difference maker to justify, in my opinion, locking him in for the majority of the community. And I personally would not recommend you lock in Steph Curry. I think that 700k NT could be much better served being saved. Looking forward to next week's content, because we're still going to get a LeBron soon, and we're still going to get a KD soon, and we might see a John Wall in the next couple weeks, who could be the best point guard in the game if we get a John Wall, because his release is super fast and he's an elite slasher. Like, there are a lot of good options, and we're going to get tons more good cards. Steph Curry, for a lock-in that doesn't give you a set with any other truly elite cards, is not worth locking in for the majority of the community. That's just my opinion. But y'all let me know in the comment section down below. Are y'all locking in Steph? What do y'all think of this week's content? All those things, let me know. Hopefully y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.